So welcome back to the FuturePrint Virtual Summit. I have with me Dario Urbanati, who is the Chief Sales and Marketing Officer for Actega Metal Print. Welcome, Dario.
Thanks, Marcus. Nice to be here.
Thank you, and thanks for joining us and for being part of this event as a content partner. This session is focusing on a new innovation that's been introduced into the market very recently called Ecoleaf, of which Dario is going to explain a little more about. It's about metallization with a sustainable profile and has a very interesting applications within the field of packaging. So Dario, I'd like to hand you the lectern, as they say, for you to present a little bit more about your new exciting products.
Marcus, I'm very happy to share with you some insights about our latest development with Ecoleaf and what it is all about. Let me just share with you the screen and start right away with the presentation.
Okay.
Welcome to our today's presentation about Ecoleaf, which is a new category of metallization. Before I start with the technology as such, please let me lose some words about the environment we are in. Ecoleaf is a project of Actega. The company name of ours is Actega Metal Print. Actega is a part of the group Altana in Germany. Altana consists of 4 divisions, BYK, active in additives, Eckart, which is very well known in the printing industry as a supplier of pigments, Elantas, which is active in electrical and electronic environment, and Actega, which is also very well known in the printing and packaging environment for its coatings and sealants for flexible packaging, paper and board, and of course for the metal packing solutions. Altana has, like many others in industry today, climate protection goals. Our goal is to become climate neutral by 2025. And in 2020, we already introduced one major step forward to reach that goal by conversion our electricity consumption towards green electricity. Of course, more to come, but that was a major step forward already this year. Few words about Actega Metal Print. We are headquartered in Lehrte, close to Hanover in Germany. We have a purpose-built infrastructure. You see here on the lower left side, fantastic building equipped with labs, competence center, and offices. We employ about 50 staff, including experts from other Altana divisions, external specialists, consultants, and so forth. We do have a worldwide network of R&D and production partners, and we have started to build up an in-house service organization to service our first customers. On the top right, you see in the middle Jan-Frans Allerkamp, which is the CEO of Actega Metal Print. On the left side, you see Harald Jasper, which is the COO of this company. On the right side, that's myself. So let's talk quickly about some values of embellishments. And I found this image here in social media, which illustrates very well the benefit of labeling and packaging. Left side, a candle for $1, no brand. Right side, a candle, most probably even the same, sold for $100. Of course, this is an illustration, but it shows very well in what environment we are moving ourselves. One of the most important embellishment methods for packaging is metallization. It distinguishes commodities from luxury brands. It helps to create beautiful and luxurious packaging. And of course, we have one issue with metallization, which is that it's costly, complicated, time-consuming, and also creates a lot of waste. And this picture here, as you see, that's one of many print shop owners and printers know this picture. It's waste of foil, which you use to metallize the beforehand mentioned beautiful packaging. So The idea is to develop a zero waste metallization and help this technology to a breakthrough in the markets. So Ecoleaf is a new category of metallization for the graphic arts. We will use Ecoleaf to embellish labels, folding carton, flexible packaging, and so forth. And one of the very big differences compared to the established metallization technologies in the market is that Ecoleaf only uses the precise amount of metal we need to metallize, and thereof eliminate the need for hot and cold foil, or in other words, eliminate a lot of waste. So let me show you how that works. An illustration of the technology. On the left side, you see the application of a so-called trigger image. From a systematic perspective, you can imagine the trigger image as a kind of a glue, like the cold foil glue, which you apply either in flexo, screen printing, or inkjet. The glue distinguishes the shape of the image you want to metallize. So, for example, if you want to have a metallized triangle, you print a triangle in the trigger image. On the next step, we do UV curing with standard UV curing systems, like you have today available in the market, size TGW and so forth, available already in the inline narrow web presses. Next station is a so-called metallization unit. The heart of the technology is the so-called donor roll. That's the big drum in the center of the metallization unit. You see that here illustrated. And around the donor roll, you see a number of small rollers, which we use to apply a monolayer of pigments onto the donor roll. The substrate is run in between of a impression roller and the donor roller, and does a kind of a kiss printing and applies the metal pigments on top of the trigger image. So thereof, you only use the amount of metal you need to metallize the desired image. Here on the top right side, you see a picture from our very first installations we had a few months back. Meanwhile, the system looks quite a bit different, and we will show pictures to the market in a few months from now. Here and after in the process, you do overprinting with screen printing or inkjet on top of the metallized layer or around it in register, and create a beautiful label. So in the cross view, you have here on the left side, from below to top, you have the substrate, you have a trigger image, you have an Ecoleaf metallization layer, and on top you have the image print, an overprint varnish, a gold layer, and so forth. Of course, the technology also works the other way around. Let's say you have the substrate first, then you have the image print, on top you put the trigger image, then the metallized layer, and maybe on top you put a gold layer or an OPV if needed. What is the difference between Ecoleaf and other metallization solution? As mentioned beforehand, we place the metal pigments only where we need them. That drastically reduces the amount of required metal. So what we do is, in other words, we ship to our customers the pigments and not the very heavy cold foil or hot foil reels. That leads to a much improved sustainability. We have a flexible machine integration, and because of the beforehand said, we do not have hot or cold foil waste, and we also do not have machine stops at the foil end. As you know, usually, or in most of the cases, cold foil reel is somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000 meters. In some cases, a bit longer, and some a bit shorter. If the cold foil reel is empty, you need to stop the machine, you need to change the reel, you need to restart the machine. Eventually, you need to run again into register. You have some waste and lose some time, and this is not required with Ecoleaf. What are benefits in terms of application? Because you do a one-to-one replication of the trigger image, you are able to achieve very fine details and high resolution. So for example, if you apply a trigger image in Flexo and you have maybe a high definition Flexo environment in use, you can print very fine Flexo and do a one-to-one replication with pigments. So that really gives you outstanding results. Because you can apply the trigger image also in screen printing, you can apply tactile effects on filmic substrates or paper without embossing. That gives you very nice, shiny, excellent tactile metallic surfaces. You have the possibilities to apply new decoration possibilities by colorizing the trigger image to change the shade very slightly of the metallized surface, or you can overprint the metallized surface. And we tested that extensively. Ecoleaf appears to be very well overprintable, and that gives you beautiful new possibilities to create shiny surfaces. Because the trigger image is transparent, you also can apply Ecoleaf on backside printing. So then you look through the substrate, the transparent substrate, you look through the transparent trigger image, and you see the metallized layer from the backside, which is thinkable to be used as a wraparound label or a shrink sleeve application, etc. And finally, we do replace costly tooling, specifically if we talk about hot foil. Where tooling costs are sometimes quite a significant part of the job TCO. That's something we do not need, and we also do not have pressure limitation in terms of hot foil technology, which also gives you the possibility to do pretty large or very large metallization surfaces without tooling or pressure issues. So in summary, very fine metallization with highest resolution you apply with a flexo trigger image. Rotary or flat bed screen trigger image allows you to produce tactile metallic effects on paper and films. And we do work on an inkjet trigger image, which is working very good already here in the Competence Center, which allows you to do seamless and variable metallization. Here are some pictures of overprinting. You see top left, you see the silver layer of the Ecoleaf pigments, and then we just overprinted it for testing purposes in our Competence Center on the right side with some Flexo inks, and on the lower left picture you see one of the golds we produced. Because this technology is very flexible, if it comes to overprinting, you can create several shades of gold. One of our beta customers printed a rose gold, which looked amazing. So there are endless new possibilities to use Ecoleaf for decoration of your products. So let's talk quickly about sustainability. You have seen the picture beforehand. We want to go from the mountain of foil waste to the use of pigments and apply pigments only where you need them. So, of course, that leads to a massive reduction in logistic requirements. That leads to a drastic reduction of plastic production, plastic usage and disposal. We also work with this technology towards an adjustment on the food regulation, which we expect to achieve in 2021 following. And we did large analytic work with the help of an external institute. And we do have today a qualified estimation on our desks saying that the CO2 footprint reduction would be more than 50% compared to foil technologies. Of course, depending on whether you compare with hot foil and cold foil, how big is the metallized surface, what recycling systems are in place, do you have tooling, what kind of tooling you're using, etc. But the ballpark number of 50% and more in CO2 footprint reduction shows the sustainable potential of this technology. So let's have quickly look into process and integration. And I have here a drawing of an ABG Digicon Series 3. As you know, ABG was appointed as the first distributor for Ecoleaf, and that's why it was a good choice here to use an ABG sample and the drawing. So the web path runs from left to right. At the first flexo station, we would apply, for example, the trigger image in flexo, or an overprint varnish in case you print with HB. For example, on the second station, we would have a flatbed screen trigger image. We tested up to 40 microns tactile metallization, or you could imagine having here another flexo station for a flexo trigger image. On the station 3, we would have an Ecoleaf metallization unit, and on the station 4, for example, another flexo station for an overprint varnish if required, a gold layer, and so forth. So let's have a few words about substrates. Of course, in the short time of industrialization work which we did with Ecoleaf the last 2+ years, it was not possible to test all available substrates in the market. We were focusing the last 2 years very much on the process of Ecoleaf as such, and started with the qualification process only a short time ago. So currently we have about 30+ qualified substrates in our substrate list. We are continuing with high pressure and high speed in qualifying additional substrates. And so far we are happy to say that most of the suppliers which gave us their substrate to test were qualified, and we didn't encounter too big issues in order to have this technology as flexible as possible also in terms of substrates. So a quick excursus into beta. We started our beta program in spring this year. We have installed an amount of machines already in Europe, and this was even under pandemic conditions. This was possible to first of all motivate printers to use this technology, and second to install it. That's one sample from one of our beta customers. Unfortunately, I'm not allowed to show you from which one, and also not allowed to show you the brand of the label. The substrate is a UPM PolyJet white glassine 65 trigger image rotary screen. The image was printed in offset. Ecoleaf was installed on print station 2. On print station 1 was obviously the trigger image, and obviously this is a wine and beverage label. And the conclusion was from this beta test that this technology is very well suitable for wine and beverage decoration. Depending on the application, you might add an overprint varnish, and then you are also able to decorate, for example, cosmetic labels. So let's talk about the money. That's something which most of our audience might be interested a lot in. We did extensive analytic work and compared Ecoleaf with a flexo trigger image versus cold foil. And it's important to say that a TCO is not universal valid because the TCO calculation depends a lot on foil purchase volume and the foil costs, eventually installed foil saving devices, what tooling you are using, if you use hot foil, how big the metallization area of a label is. But our work showed that we have a cost saving potential with Ecoleaf somewhere between 20 and 50% compared to foil based technologies, depending on the beforehand mentioned factors. So what we do is we invite printers to contact us to have an individual total cost of ownership calculation based on the data which a print shop has ready, or individual data. So please do not hesitate to talk with us if you would look more into detail into the total cost of ownership calculation. Let's talk quickly about the timeline this product introduction and the going to market process. As I said, the beta program started beginning of this year. Most of the betas will be concluded by end of 2020 or maybe beginning of 2021. Here and after, we need a round of R&D to adapt the beta learnings to ensure the first commercially available product also is based on the inputs we harvested from beta. We do already now develop sales funnel, and we do already now take reservation for this technology. Commercial installations will be from Q2, maybe beginning of Q3 2021, with an initial availability in the European Union in 2021 and the US end of 2021 or beginning of 2022. So if you would like to look more into detail into this technologies also here, please get in touch with us or just have a look on our webpage, Actega-metalprint.com, and sign on our newsletter.
Excellent.
That's everything from me already for the moment. And Markus, back to you.
Thank you very much. Dario, yeah, very interesting. It reminds me that the actual marketplace at the moment is looking for things on way, and technology and innovation may be different to perhaps 6 to 12 months ago, but that actually there's an increase in interest regarding improved efficiencies and so on. Clearly, this technology is pitched at applications that are perhaps luxury or classified as luxury, hence the use of metallization, but that actually 20 to 50% saving is significant. So are customers that you've spoken to so far, are they more interested in the sustainable kind of profile, or are they more interested in the cost savings?
Look, if you have a new product with a value proposition which gives you sustainability and cost savings and new forms of decoration, of course, that's a good thing, right? For customers, printers, designers, and so forth. It depends a bit on which field the customer is in and how big the pressure on their costing is from their print buyers. So we see both. We see some which are really very much into the cost saving. And we see some which say, okay, based on the promises of their brand owners or their print buyers in terms of sustainability goals, maybe look more into the sustainability effects.
Yeah, so it depends very much on the individual and very much on the kind of vision of the business. You've rejoined us. There you are. Brilliant. Yeah. Thank you. With that in mind, so you've very much got the, am I right in thinking, so some of the applications and examples you showed us were very much what you might call luxury packaging and beverages. Is that what you deem as being the kind of key market for Ecoleaf, or do you think there might be other applications that you discover as you roll the product out into the market, or is it clear that it's mainly focused at that top end?
No, not at all. We are not focusing on top end. I mean, there are vast amounts of metallized, let's say tier 2, tier 3 metallized packaging available on the shelves of supermarkets globally. It would be not very wise to focus with this technology just on the tier 1 packaging. Yeah.
Okay. So you think it has an application across the marketplace? That's interesting.
Yeah.
I thought it was also interesting how you've designed this, and it works with all technologies, by all accounts, flexo, screen, and inkjet. The interest that you've had so far, has it been more from any particular area? Has it been more from the flexo area, or?
Look, every printer is different, and the strategies of the printers are also different. And we have encountered printers which would be seen as purely conventional printers with no digital machine installed whatsoever. And they call me and say, Daria, I want to talk with you about digital metallization possibilities with an inkjet bar, respectively with a trigger image applied with an inkjet bar. And it's difficult to find a pattern because we offer so many things already at this early stage of technology. So we apply the trigger image flexo, rotary screen printing, flatbed screen printing, trigger image in inkjet. It's more or less something there for everybody. So according to the individual strategy of a printer, he can select the best way for him to produce metallization with Ecoleaf.
Yeah, and I guess you're at the point now where people are kind of showing interest, and you're spending time with them, showing how it can work within the existing production that they have. They don't. I'm asking sort of silly questions here, but they don't need to buy a new printing machine in order for Ecoleaf to work, right? It works.
No.
Yeah.
No. You take an Ecoleaf metallization module, you put it on the rail in case of a web inline machine, or you put it on a frame in case of an ABG. And then you just need to select or make the decision how to apply the trigger image, and that's the beforehand mentioned technologies, and then you're off to go.
Yeah, and that's cool. One other thought I had, and you kind of alluded to it in the presentation. Does it enable new design kind of possibilities, or is it more, with in terms of the change in the way of the process? Does it mean that you can do different things with design that you couldn't previously do, or is it?
See, what I learned from printers during my humble experience in the label printing industry the last 15 years is that sometimes they have massive problems in overprinting of, let's say, alternative metallization technologies. And we solve that problem because Ecoleaf is overprintable with ease very well. And by having a core technology where you can colorize a trigger image in case you apply it with a conventional technology like flex or screen, and changing the shade, and by the fact you have an easy to overprinted metallization technology, you can apply varnishes, or you can maybe print a Fresnel lens, giving you amazing opportunities. You can apply inkjet overprint. It looks very cool also if you apply a halftone printing on top of the metallization layer, because then you can really start playing with optical effects. I mean, there is boundless possibilities with Ecoleaf.
Yeah. It sounds like a real breakthrough technology, actually, if it enables all of these new creative opportunities. Like you say, reduces the waste. So actually, and I know in other areas of printing that by reducing that kind of waste, you're actually reducing the burden on the design as well. Because if the design doesn't quite work, then often the design is blamed. So I think it probably liberates creativity as well. Thanks so much. It's really interesting. I wish you every success with this fantastic new technology. And thank you for being part of the FuturePrint Virtual Summit, for Actega Metal Print to be part of it. Really excited that you're showing it here. And I hope you take part in some of the networking when people want to connect with you. You have a profile, or Daria has a profile on FuturePrint Virtual Summit website where you can connect with him on LinkedIn and so on. That's it. So thanks very much, Daria.
Thank you very much, Marcus. It was a pleasure.